How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. We're talking about NIO today because it fell a significant amount and we actually bought some shares and we might be buying more. I think there's a lot of upside with NIO right now, and I wanted to give you kind of a rundown of where the stock is, what its forward price to sales ratio looks like, what its price to sales ratio looks like right now, some good news that came out yesterday that you might not have heard about, and kind of just reevaluating the stock, because I think it's important to look at these companies when they've fallen so much and determine whether you should sell or whether you should buy or whether you should hold. So I think this is a really important video today. Now, if you guys like this, please leave a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Also, if you haven't already hit subscribe, please hit subscribe. We're so close to 40,000 subscribers. I think we can get there in the next few days. So definitely hit that button down there. Also, if you want some free stocks from WeBull, you can definitely check out the link down below. You can get 4 free stocks if you deposit $100. So I really appreciate that. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you want to know exactly what I'm buying and what I'm selling, some people in our Patreon group were buying at $39 a share today. I was able to buy in at about 44. I was a little bit late, but even since then, we're up, 3, 4, 5% on NIO. I'm updating this after I actually recorded and edited the video because it has moved up a lot. So I tell my Patreon group members as soon as I can when I'm buying stocks and selling stocks pretty much as soon as I do it. So if you want to get in on that, if you want to see what I'm buying and selling in real time and possibly be able to come out ahead on companies like this, you can check out the link down below to Patreon. So let's take a look at NIO today. So NIO fell to about $39 a share. I said in my video yesterday, I would probably buy if it fell under 40. Now, I was actually making a video on ChargePoint and I missed the run up, but I bought a couple more shares at $44. I feel pretty good about NIO right now, and I realize that it is pretty expensive, right? It's a pretty expensive stock, just overall price to sales ratio, but I couldn't get a feel for how expensive it is. A lot of their stats are in actually a different currency, so I wanted to evaluate that. Now, we can see from the report on their Q3 deliveries, they had about 630 million in revenue over the third quarter. That's US dollars. Now, they are expecting to increase this a good amount. They've been able to increase the margin. I've talked about this before, but let's take a look at kind of the numbers overall for the company. And I'm doing this with a couple different companies today. I actually just did it with SBE, ChargePoint. So definitely check that out after the video is done. But right now, NIO sits at a price of about $44 a share. This could change a little bit by the time you see it, but their valuation is right around $60 billion right now. Their sales for this year, based on what they're doing right now, this last quarter, not what they've done for the last 4 quarters, but just taking this quarter, multiplying it by 4, about $2.66 billion. Now, with these companies, they care about revenue a lot of the time more than they care about earnings, because of the fact that they're expanding so much. They're putting almost everything back into the business. So we have about $2.66 billion on a forward revenue basis, but we're expecting to be able to ramp up, and I'll explain that in a second. That was some of the good news that came out yesterday. But their price to sales ratio, just based on what they've done this last quarter, is about 22.5. Pretty high, right? It's not like some Shopify necessarily or some of these other really high growth stocks, but it's higher than other companies like Tesla. Now, based on their 2021 sales, they are expecting a significant increase. So first of all, they have said in this report for Q3 that they were expecting to be able to get up to about 920 million in revenue for Q4. They're expecting to deliver about 17,000 vehicles. And just based on what they did yesterday, they gave out their November numbers. That's not out of the question. So they delivered about 5,300 vehicles in November. Again, if they just multiply this by 3, that's about 16,000 vehicles. They said about 16,500 to 17,000 vehicles. So I think it's definitely doable. Now, some of the good news that came out yesterday, though, it's not just that they are ramping up production in the short term, they also are moving up their timeline to be able to produce 7,500 vehicles per month. So I covered this in my video yesterday, but this is something that they were expecting to do at the end of January. Now they're trying to ramp it up in December. They think they can do it by the end of December, get it all going for Q1 of next year at 7,500 per month. Now, this is a big increase from where we are now. That's about a 30% increase. So this would increase their revenue pretty significantly. That would bring them up to about $1.2 billion in revenue every quarter. So that would bring them up to about 5 billion, just under $5 billion worth of revenue for the year. And again, they'll probably ramp it up from there. This is something that continuously happens, right? You don't just stop after you ramp it up. You continuously do that. So we're expecting them just on a Q1 basis, just being able to take the first month of 2021 and be able to do that exact number throughout the rest of the year. If they're able to produce and sell about 7,500 vehicles a month, that would put them at about $5 billion in revenue, which would mean that their price to sales ratio would be about 12.3, much lower than it is now, almost half. So am I buying the dip? Yeah, I'm buying the dip. I bought some shares today, like I said. I think that this has been actually pretty good news overall. We actually got a price upgrade too from analyst Fei Fang yesterday. That was a long-term bear on the company. She's from Goldman Sachs. She upgraded her price target from $7 to $59. I talked about yesterday how I think this could be a $60 stock. So based on the price that it is right now, that could bring some nice upside. I mean, that's about a 35% price increase from where it is now. Again, I think that this could be very valuable. It could be a very valuable stock just even in the short term. But long term, we're looking at a pretty high growth company. I really want to buy in more. I might buy more at this current price. Like I said, I bought the shares at about $44 a share today. Unfortunately, I got in pretty late, but I did pick up some SBE, which is a company that I've also been liking, and I'm up on it right now. So I'm up a little bit from when I bought in. So overall, again, I think NIO is in a pretty good position right now. If you want to buy more, this is a pretty good time to do it. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is just my personal opinion. But I think a lot of people lost out and felt the FOMO of not buying NIO stock. And now might be a good time to get in because again, we're seeing a massive dip throughout the entire market. I want to reevaluate it. It seems like it's pretty attractive at the next year level, especially because they are planning on ramping up production a significant amount. Now, you are betting on an individual stock that is in the EV space, which is dangerous because there are so many traditional car manufacturers that are looking to get into the space, like GM. There are a lot of companies that just want to fight for this now. So, you should take that into account too. I think some people too might be considering the news that the US might actually delist Chinese companies. I don't think this is very likely to happen, but you can do your own research on it. Candy, which is a company that supposedly actually came out with some fraudulent numbers and actually capitalized on $160 million worth of US investor money, fell 29% yesterday after an article from a short selling company talking about how they were doing this fraudulently. And then since then, it's fallen about another 19%. But NIO seems like it's in a different league. Of course, China is just saying that this would affect their sovereignty if the U.S. had auditors come in. So I would take that into account too, but I don't think that's very likely. But you can read up on it if you're concerned about that. I personally invested more into ChargePoint today too. I think that, like I said, they're representing a pretty valuable valuation right now. So I think that that's definitely worth considering. Also, if you haven't seen that video, I just made it a little while ago. You can definitely check out the video on the end screen. I'll post it there. But let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. I'd be really interested in hearing. Again, check out those free stocks from WeBull. I really appreciate that. Please hit subscribe. And if you want to see what I'm buying and what I'm selling, you can definitely check out the link down below to Patreon. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.